Bonjour everyone and welcome to my channel The Waves of Your Soul. My name is Marine, I'm a French tarot reader, and in today's video we're going to be looking at finding out how people see you versus how you see yourself. So this is a really interesting exercise that I love to do to see how potentially people might perceive us, our first impressions, how we project ourselves into the society, or how our loved ones perceive and see us versus how we see ourselves, how we want to be seen, and who we really are at our core. And it is a really interesting reading that I love to do to help empower ourselves, help give us some confidence, and help us evolve in the world in a more empowered way. So, if you don't know how pick-up pile reading works, in front of you, you're going to find 3 different choices. Today, I'm using 3 different tarot decks because, so they would make it a little bit more interesting. So this is going to be choice number 1, pile number 1, and you also have a crystal right here that you can help to choose from. So if you prefer to pick with crystals, this one right here is Fluorite. Then for pile number 2, or choice number 2, right here we have this quartz crystal with rutile in it. And finally, for choice number 3, pile number 3, this is the deck you can choose, or we also have a flower agate right here. So those are the 3 choices that I'm offering to do. All you have to do is connect to your inner knowing, to your intuition, to choose the pile that calls out to you the most. If you're attracted to more than one pile, it means that there's a message for you to hear in both piles, and it's totally okay to listen to more than one. Once you've decided which is the pile for you, all you have to do is head into the description box below of the video. I will have put timestamps for each of the different reading, and you just click on it and it will take you straight to your message. Now, before I get into it, I always want to say that with all of my readings, they are reading for the collective. So please use your inner knowing, use your intuition to take what resonates with you and leave the rest. So for those of you who need a little bit more time to pick the pile that call that for them to connect with their own waves of their soul, I'm going to introduce a very quick 30-second meditation. I'll leave an image of the 3 different piles. You can use that time to take some deep breaths, release any tension you might be holding in, and connect to your inner knowing to choose the pile for you. Otherwise, I will see you in your reading starting now. Okay, my pile number 1, welcome to your reading. So if you chose the fluorite crystal right here, or if you chose this specific deck, which is actually called the Modern Witch Tarot, then this is going to be the reading for you. As I mentioned, we're going to be digging deep into finding out how people see you versus how you see yourself. So the first thing we're going to be doing is having a look at how your loved ones see you. We're starting quite close to home here. First of all, how your close-knit circle of friends, family, potential romantic partners, what are the core kind of qualities that they see in you? Okay, we've already got jumpers. Beautiful. Okay, we've got 2 major arcana cards for my pile number 1 on how your loved ones see you, and we have Justice and Temperance. So that's a very interesting, powerful combo. First of all, first thing I heard is some of you might be Libras, and Aquariuses, so because those are the 2 star signs associated to those 2 cards, so that might be part of like how you project in the world. But more importantly, in terms of how your loved ones see you, they see you as people who are very fair. First of all, people who make just decisions, who take their time to take decisions. You're not the kind of people, according to your loved ones, your family, your friends, etc., that are gonna be rushing to action. You're gonna take your time, you're gonna evaluate, and actually I sense that they see you as someone who can give very good advice, as someone who can be a great guiding star, and as someone who they can really rely on, because there's a sense of accountability with you, where they all your friends, your family, your loved ones, etc., they know that they can count on you, because they know that you're not gonna be flaky on them, and they know that you're gonna be there to give one advice that can be, straight, fair, balanced, that is because you yourself live a quite a balanced and fair life according to them anyway. That's how they see you. But also a very nurturing, compassionate and loving kind of presence. You give this energy to your loved ones of someone who can be there to really infuse some healing and infuse some compassion into their life, who can give good advice, who can be very fair, and also who they can go to when they need to see things clearly, when they're in their own mind and they can't quite seem to navigate their own life. They know that they can come to you as a sort of guiding light to help them cut away all the crap, because you see, justice does have a sword, right? As well as with temperance, there's a sense of you being there to temperate, to actually calm things down. So, if there's arguments in family or friendship groups, you might be the person who always has to be like the referee, who's there to hear both parties and says, okay, this is where you're wrong, this is where you're right, maybe you need to apologize, maybe you need to work on that. That kind of vibe where you're the person that these people tend to go to for advice, for arbitrary kind of decisions, as well as for compassion and this idea of helping them see the light. Because as you can see in Temperance card, we do have this kind of sunrise here with the angel doing an alchemy process. So it's a beautiful healing card. So super interesting already how you project to your loved ones, because that might not be at all how you see yourself, but we're going to go a little bit deeper into how you see yourself later on. Let's find out how society sees you now. So now we have a little bit more of an idea on how your loved ones see you, like the people close to you, how they see you. Let's see now more in terms of how society, so potentially people you don't even know, like people you might be just meeting for the first time, or people you just navigate and encounter just buying your coffee or going for food or going to the shop or doing your first job interviews, when they meet you for the first time. Society at large, the people who don't know you, how does society see you? Let's find out. So this is total first impression. Really, here we're at the core of how you project, consciously or unconsciously, which is why this reading is super interesting. Okay, so we had 3 jumpers. We have, let me move those little shells. Okay, we have the Page of Pentacles, the Star, and the 9 of Pentacles. So how society sees you is in a way that is very sturdy, grounded, down to earth, practical, reliable. You give this impression to people with the Page of Pentacles and the 9 of Pentacles of someone who, one, is very grounded, who knows who they are, who's stable, stability, grounded, 2 feet on the earth. You don't give this vibe of someone who's very hectic or very fire energy or air energy. We're talking here earth energy, so it's an energy that's grounding, 2 feet on the earth, someone who's stable, practical. Maybe you give the kind of, also with the 9 of Pentacles, you might give the impression to people that for you material wellness is very important. Maybe it's the way you dress, maybe it's the car that you drive, maybe it's the house you have, or the way you project yourself to people with your belongings and your way of life. You give the potential projection that for you material abundance, material wellness, whether it's money or clothes or whatever, having the latest phone, whatever, it will resonate different for different people. But you might give this impression to people that for you that is important, because here with the Pentacles we're talking about the material world. So some of you might be Leo rising in terms of putting some importance into your physical appearances, or Tauruses. Some of you might be Taurus or Taurus rising. We could have some Leo vibes right here, and we could also have some potentially even Virgo vibes or Capricorn vibes, because we have this idea here of also you potentially give the impression that work is very important for you as well. So how your, whether that's your career or your life work, it is part of who you are, and it's part of you know, what's important in your life. Again, that's how society sees you. That's not, might not be how you see yourself at all. Also, with the star right here, we have a very interesting feature, or like part of what you can be projecting to society, which focuses around giving a beautiful kind of aura. So you definitely are one of those people who gives this sense of an aura that's very soothing, that's very calming. Again, we reiterate the fact that you don't have hectic energy, you don't have this kind of like chaos magic kind of vibe about you. You're a lot more, because potentially people see you grounded, and again, remember we had Justice and Temperance card as how your loved ones see you, and because you give this sense of being grounded, down to earth, and being also quite calm, at least how you project, there's this very soothing and healing aura around you that people, when you meet them for the first time, they feel like they can be at ease with you. With the star here, we have the sense of people can just relax, can be themselves. They don't feel like they have to hide. They don't feel like they have to put on a mask around you, because you make people feel comfortable, and you make people feel like it's okay to be seen just as they are. I don't sense you as giving this projection of being judgmental around people or anything like that, in terms of at least how society sees you. You know, there's more the sense of you being this very, in the star we see someone completely naked, you know, pouring water both in a lake and in the earth to feed, to heal, to recover and recuperate. And it's this aura and this vibe that you project to the society as well, my pile number one, where people feel like they can be completely transparent with you, they can be naked with you in terms of, you know, their personality, they can drop the mask, because you potentially give this very soothing, healing, calming energy, and that definitely can play in your favor, my pile number one, because it means that people, you know, it's like suddenly there's a sense of calmness and of zen-like vibes around you, where people can just take a deep breath, right? So potentially some of you are, even though maybe inside you are very stressed, you definitely don't project that out there. So it'll be interesting to find out a little bit more how you see yourself. Let's pull a couple of oracle cards to get any more message into how society sees you, and then we'll move on into finding out how you see yourself. Seduction, okay. And one more. Quarrel. Okay, so potentially some of you have this very seductive kind of energy, where, you know, you can be definitely seductive to people regardless of whether this is something that you're actively doing or not. There is this very, like, you know, energy of potentially projecting oozing beauty and seduction and feeling confidence. And with Quarrel, it's interesting because Quarrel here is Mars in Cancer, and it is the idea, for me, it very much resonates to what we were saying about when people argue, they come to you. So for me, this card resonates to not you quarreling with others, but people feeling the need that when they are quarreling, when they are in this space of friction, of tension, you're the person that they go to. Because remember, we had Justice and Temperance, and that's the place kind of role that you might be playing with your family, with your friends, etc. So you're the arbitrary here. You're the one that's going to help them find a common ground. For you, I see you here in this card as being the person that's going to help people find community, find a common ground, and find resolution. So maybe even in your work, for some of you, this is part of what you do. Maybe some of you are counselors watching this, or you're, you know, in your work managing teams or something like that, where you have more of a role of a negotiator. So let me know in the comments if that resonates or not, but I'll be interested to know. Okay, so now we're going to be going into finding out, actually I can put those right here, right there. Perfect. Now we're going to be looking at finding out more how you see yourself. Okay, because now we have a bit of an idea how you project yourself into society and into the world, but it's interesting to compare with how you see yourself. Okay, we have the Emperor, and then let's pull another card. Eight of Cups. Okay, interesting. So how you see yourself is definitely as someone I sense again stability, groundedness, because the Emperor is the number 4 in the tarot, and 4 relates to stability. If you imagine 4 pillars or 4 feet of a table, you know, it's quite stable, it's quite grounding. So with the Emperor here, we have the idea of how you see yourself. You see yourself as someone who's quite grounded, but also as someone who won't take shit from other people. You definitely see yourself as someone who have their boundaries set up. You know what you like in life, you know what you don't like, and if something doesn't resonate with you, if something doesn't sit right with you, you have no qualms about walking away from it. With this 8 of Cups here, I get a strong sense that you are confident enough in your person with the Emperor to know what you want from life to a certain aspect anyway. Maybe not in all areas of your life, like maybe you haven't figured out what you want to do for a job, but you know what you expect from loving relationship, or on the contrary, maybe you have your career plan totally, you know, done and focused and on point, but you're not quite sure what you want in terms of a loving relationship. But regardless, there's definitely areas in your life where you're very strong-minded, you know what you want, and if things don't go your way, you have no qualms about leaving what doesn't work for you behind. There's a really good sense here for you in terms of how you see yourself, in terms of boundaries. You've managed to set strong boundaries for yourself, and you're very good at walking away from situations or people who are not good for you and who you think are not doing the best, that, you know, that are not for your highest good, pretty much. So that's very interesting. But let's find out also, because with the Emperor and this kind of Aries vibe here, we get a sense of someone who's strong-minded, know what they want, have no qualms at putting the work in. So again, with this Knight of Pentacles, it does reinforce the idea of, for some of you, material abundance can be something that you attach value to, and that's no judgment, it's not anything shady, you know, it's just a fact. Like, it's totally okay, of course, to want material abundance and want physical things. Like, a lot of spiritual communities will, you know, make you feel bad about wanting nice things. And why would you not want nice things? You know, at the end of the day, we don't all have to live like monks in Tibetan or, you know, monasteries kind of type. If that's what you want, then that's perfectly great. But if that's not what you want, and you want a nice car or the nice house or the nice phone or the nice tarot deck, then that's totally okay as well. So that's just a side message that I felt like some of you needed to hear, though, that came strongly, that I heard, was like, tell them it's okay to want nice things, because you shouldn't feel, you know, ashamed to want nice things for yourself if that's what brings you comfort and joy. And that's why I was saying, for some of you, I sense Taurus's vibes here, Capricorn vibes, and potentially Virgo vibes, but more so Taurus and Capricorn. Again, let me know in the comments. So definitely you have this kind of idea in terms of a dream, a goal, and you won't stop at anything to get it with this Emperor card, and you're very ready to cut away anything or anyone or any habit, any situation that, you know, could stand in your way to get that dream, that goal, that idea to come into life. So very powerful, kind of, I sense some confidence there, even though maybe you don't project it in terms of being overly cocky, because obviously people don't see you as being someone cocky, which is great. You do have this more quiet inner confidence, which is actually a super powerful secret weapon. So well done, pile number 1. Let's see now how you want to be seen, because sometimes what we project and how we want to be seen are completely different things. Okay. 4 of Swords and 6 of Cups. So for some of you, you're actually a little bit over the fact that people might come to you with their problems. People might come to you to get some advice or something like that. With the Four of Swords, we get this idea that how you want to be seen is some of you just want to be left in peace. So maybe because you give this vibe of someone who's very fair, who can take decision, who has this aura of healing, groundedness, but also who can help people drop the mask and see people for who they are and give them compassion, healing, etc., etc. Maybe you are some kind of a magnet for dramatic people and people who don't have their life together pretty much, and who are kind of like the opposite of you, where they don't know how to walk away from their problems and they just keep, you know, doing the same cycle. And I can sense that for some of you it's starting to get a little bit old, and you're getting a little bit tired of people coming to you with their drama, with their BS, and with expecting you to fix it, or expecting you to you know, help them sort themselves out when they've put themselves in that mess in the first place. So that's interesting. With the Six of Cups here as well, how you want to be seen is maybe you, for some of you, maybe you wish that you had a more kind of innocent, kind of childlike energy, maybe someone not so sturdy, strong, and grounded and practical. Maybe some of you wish that you were seen a little bit more as a dreamer, as someone who's imaginative, because that's how you feel you are at your core, but that's not what you're potentially projecting to the world. You know, as we mentioned, maybe you're projecting this idea that you're very grounded, very practical, whereas you wish that people saw you more not as the fixer, but as maybe more the dreamer, with that childlike, spontaneous energy. Maybe some of you wish that people realize more how spontaneous you were, how imaginative you were, how much of a dreamer you are, instead of people seeing you as the fixer, as the person that can give advice, as the person who can get stuff done, as the practical person who can fix problems, who can get, you know, go from place A to B and get everyone to follow line, you know. So with the Six of Cups here, with this is definitely what I'm getting. Let's pull some couple of cards for the Oracle of the Sun to see a little bit more of an understanding how you want to be seen. Ooh. Yeah, see, eccentricity. So definitely for a lot of you, this image that you're projecting of being, that people perceive you as being more serious and being more grounded, being more practical, it is hindering you a little bit, because deep down you know you have this eccentric vibe, you know you have this like curious, creative vibe, but maybe at work or in your family, etc., you haven't quite managed to show that to people yet, and it's something that you're wanting to show a little bit more, to break away from this shell that is very sturdy, structured, practical, and serious, and to show a little bit more of your eccentricity. So that's very interesting, and something you can work on projecting more. If it's especially in your career, with your colleagues, etc., if you're kind of sick of people turning to you to do the more serious, you know, practical things, and you actually want people to come to you also when they're brainstorming, not just when they want numbers cracked, or when they want to know, you know, for you to just make the budget plan, or for you to make the whole team arrangement. Maybe, you know, you wish people came to you more for brainstorming. Then this is something, you know, you can try to work on projecting a little bit more, is this eccentricity, creative, in a childlike energy. So something to note if that resonates for you. And finally, let's wrap up the reading with finding out who you really are at your core, because we have a good understanding now of how people see you, how society see you, how your loved ones see you, how you see yourself, and how you wished you were seen. But let's find out now who you really are at your core, and we're gonna pick one archetype. Of course, you're more than just one thing, right? We're more than the sums of our part. We're complex human beings. We have so many facets, you know, which makes us super interesting and super unique. But this is just going to be one of your core facets, one of your core part of your personality, to help you understand. Maybe it's something you don't even know about yourself, and let's see, something that can help you navigate the world in a more empowered way. So let's see, part of your core archetype that you need to claim more. And we have the Warrior. Beautiful. So for me, this very much resonates to this Emperor. Remember how you see yourself. Like I mentioned before, there is this kind of like inner quiet confidence about you, where you don't feel like you have to shout to get heard, which is great. You don't feel like you have to do a million things to prove to people that you can. You can move in a quiet way but still get stuff done. But with the Warrior energy here at part of your core personality, it really tells me that you're very resilient. You can get through anything. We have the Phoenix here, we have the word thrive. We really have this idea that a core part of who you are, my pile number 1, is someone who can get through anything, who can move through life with the inner quiet confidence that they are worth it, that they know what they want, that they can rise above any challenge, and that no matter what happens in your life, you will thrive, you will be rebirthed out of flame, just like the Phoenix. And it's a super inner strength that you can really rely on. For me, this very much echoes the strength card of the tarot. So rely on this inner strength, because it's such a good asset that not many people have. So you need to claim it more. You need to remind yourself of the Phoenix. Use it as a symbol for yourself to remind yourself how strong you are, how resilient you are, and how you can get anything done, and you can go after whatever you want in life, because you do have the power in yourself. You just need to believe in yourself more, my pile number 1. So beautiful reading. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, don't hesitate to give my video a like. It really helps my channel out. I'm still kind of starting in this YouTube world, so every like, every comment, it really helps my channel out. So I'm super grateful for anyone who takes time to do that. And until my next video, I am sending you lots and lots of good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye! Okay, my pile number 2, welcome to your reading. So, as I mentioned in the introduction of the video, today we're going to be looking at how people see you versus how you see yourself. So if you chose the quartz with rutilated quartz right here, or if you chose this specific tarot deck, which is actually called the Annak K tarot, then this is going to be the reading for you. So we're going to start by looking first of all how something quite close to home, and looking at how your loved ones see you. So how does your family see you, your close group of friends, your potential romantic partner, how do they see you, my pile number 2? What is the image that you project to people who are close to you? So we have the 6 of rods, or 6 of wands, and the sun. Wow, okay. So some of you might be Leos, Sagittariuses, or Aries. I get fire sign energy, or you might have, even if it's not your sign, in your natal chart, you might have a lot of those fire sign energy. But I see an aura here of pure light. You are definitely to your loved ones, and again, that might not be how you see yourself, right? And we'll be looking at that in a little bit. But in terms of what you project to your close group of friends, your family, etc., people who know you really well, you give this vibe of someone who's, one, very confident, who's very charismatic, who is very vibrant, with sunlight energy, like Apollo-like energy, someone who is not afraid to go after what they want. You're not afraid to rise up to a challenge. Some of you might love to do like competitive sports, or even just participate in competition, in regardless of what hobbies you love. Or for some of you, it might be that you just have this very happy, go-getting energy, where you're very like, you give this vibe where, you're just a happy person. With the 6 of rods and the sun, there's a lot of happy, genuinely rejoicing, celebrating vibes. So someone who's very solar, someone who gives off a lot of warmth. You're not giving, at least your loved ones, you don't give a cold vibes at all. With you, people have the sense that they get exactly who you are is what they get, kind of thing. Like with you, I get the sense that people don't feel like you're putting any mask on. You're very authentic, because you project this very sun-like energy. And in tarot, the sun talks about that time when we have gone through most of the major arcana cards. It's number 19 out of like 22. So we're almost done with our journey, and we're at a point now where we have learned so much, we have gone through so much, that we celebrate the fact that, one, we're still standing, we celebrate all the lessons we've learned, and we celebrate how confident and empowered we have become. Not in a cocky way, but just in a way that is like celebratory and, you know, happy and joyful. So definitely you don't give the vibe off to people anyway of someone who's very moody. I sense you're very positive, or people think you are very positive. You see the life, you know, you see like life on the bright side, and you can infuse brightness, happiness and joy into your loved one's life. Like, people, you're definitely that kind of person, that kind of friend or family member or loved one that people go to see when they're feeling a little bit down, and you can help them to see the other side of the coin. You can help them to reconnect to gratefulness and to seeing the glass half full again, as well as you can help them have a good time. Like, you're just, you know, for some of you, you have this kind of fun like energy where people know that they can come to you to have a good time, to have fun, to cheer up, and to just enjoy themselves. So that's definitely a very happy vibe, and, you know, super interesting. And let's see, you know, we'll see if that matches with how you see yourself, but that's what you project to your loved ones, my pile number 2. Now, let's have a look at how society sees you. So, we've looked at how people who know you the most see you. Now, how does society see you? How does people you don't know see you? You know, the people you go to the coffee shop to get your coffee, how do they see you? That first impression, or when you start a job interview, that first impression you give to the people who are interviewing you, or even just when you're walking in the street, you know, what is the image that you project to society in general? Let's have a look and see if it matches how your friends and family sees you. Okay, so we have the Page of the Page of Pentacles and the Page of Swords. Okay, 2 pages. Interesting. So there is a sense that you project to the society, maybe with the Page of Swords, first of all, that confidence that you have in your, you know, that confidence and happy vibe that you project to your loved ones. To society, sometimes it can be perceived as someone who can almost be a little feisty sometimes. So maybe society sees you as someone who will not shy away from standing for what they believe, for speaking their truth. Maybe they see you as someone who can be quite vocal and not shy, and just tell people when you smell some BS, or when you're not agreeing with something, you're not afraid to say it. Again, that's how people that don't know you perceive you, right? And it might be very different to how you feel yourself to be, but you do give this vibe to people that you would not be afraid to stand up for what you believe. You would not be afraid to potentially even protect people who need it. Maybe some of you are quite active in like activism, or active in activism, well, you know what I mean. You defend causes, charities, societal societal issues with potentially passion, and that might be what people who don't you perceive off of you, or the image you give, which is someone who's not afraid to stand up for what they believe, to defend people who will need defending. And also with this Page of Pentacles here, we do also have the image that you project someone who's quite grounded, so more so stable, 2 feet on the ground, and who's not afraid to put in the work. So definitely someone who can be relied on. The idea that, you know, you're not gonna be flaky, or you're not like running here, there and everywhere, very hectic energy, etc, etc. That's not the energy or aura or vibe that you give off to people when they meet you for the first time. You give off the idea of someone who, like I said, one, is not afraid to speak their truth, can be vocal, can say how they feel, who you see is what you get kind of vibe, as well as someone who's quite stable, quite grounded, who's quite maybe more down to earth and not so bothered about what's going on around. Like you're more focused on what's going on in your life, and so you don't give the vibe of someone who's gonna be, you know, like a gossip queen, or someone who loves to talk about other people. You give the vibe of someone who's more so loves to focus on themselves, on their own world, on their own work, on their own goals. You know, this kind of like, you have maybe a little bit of a bubble of like, don't come to me unless you have something interesting to tell me. You know, so this is a vibe that you might be giving my pile number 2. Let's pull some oracle cards to get a little bit more insight and see. So, you know, maybe that happy sun-like energy only comes after people get to know you. But at first, when people don't know you, they might see you as someone that's like quite direct, but also quite focused on their goal, and that actually maybe is a little bit intimidating as well, in the sense that they don't want to bother you unless they know they have something interesting to say, because they feel like you already know what you're doing, you already are happy. But even though you'll be probably happy to help them or talk to them, there is this idea, I'm getting a vibe of maybe potentially people are a little bit intimidated by you as well, and then when they get to know you, they do see that very happy solar like energy, because otherwise for some of them they might be a little bit intimidated, which is not a bad thing, of course. That means you can keep some of the noise and drama and gossip away as well, which is a good thing. Okay, so we have appreciation. And let's pull some more cards. So, how society sees you, my pile number 2. And we have loss. Okay, see. So for me, appreciation definitely resonates with what we're talking about. Your close ones, your loved ones, your family, they totally appreciate you. They appreciate your vibe. We have Leo energy here. Remember I mentioned fire signs, that some of you might have that in your natal chart. So definitely there's a sense of strong appreciation for the people who love you and know you. And we have this little bird here that resonates here. For how society sees you, we have loss here. For me, loss really talks about the idea that what we were talking about, that maybe people are a little bit intimidated and they need to go and dig a little bit deeper and just dare to, you know, approach you to discover this solar sun-like energy about you. But first off, you might give this energy that's very like, you know, in their bubble, in their zone, that is focused on, you know, looking and not at what they're doing and not really too bothered about what's going on around them. And so that might be a little bit intimidating for some people to approach you. So something to keep in mind for my pile number 2. Now that will be very interesting to see now how you see yourself. Now that we get a little bit of an idea on how people see you, let's see how you see yourself. For my pile number 2, we have 6 of Pentacles and we have the 9 of Cups. Okay, so how you see yourself. So with this 9 of Cups here, there's definitely, for me, it reinforces the sense that you do feel inside that you are someone who can easily look at the positive side of things, and who can be easily pleased, easily happy, that doesn't need a ton of things to have a good day, that doesn't need a ton of material belongings, or that doesn't need a ton of friends, or who doesn't need a ton of events, whatever, abundance, prosperity, etc., to be happy. You create your happiness where you are with what you have. You're very content to make the most of what you have, regardless of how much that is, and you make the most of that, and you create your own happiness, you create your own joy, regardless of your circumstances, your material abundance, etc., because you do rely on those relationships around you. For you, family, friends, your romantic partners, that close-knit, that community definitely plays a huge role in your life. And this is where you draw your strength from, my pile number 2, and this is where you draw your happiness, and this is where you draw your joy. So for me, those two echoes, you know, how your loved ones see you is very much resonating to how you see yourself as well. And for you, like nurturing that relationship, whether it's with others or with yourself, making sure you prioritize what makes you feel good rather than prioritizing work or goals or financial goals or anything like that. Is what makes you feel better, is what is feeding you in life, my pile number 2. So that's why we have the 9 of Cups. Also with the 6 of Pentacles, you potentially see yourself as someone who, you're not afraid to give and receive, so you're a very generous person is what I'm sensing, or at least that's how you see yourself. So maybe this is why there's a little bit of a dichotomy here between how people who don't know you see you versus how you see yourself, because I can sense that you would be very, very happy to help anyone in need. You're very generous, you're very willing to give some of your time, some of your guidance, not necessarily money, although for some of you would be giving money, time, guidance, etc. And help in this game of and law of the universe that is based around giving and receiving. Sometimes we have to give, sometimes we have to receive. It's just like the ebb and flow of life, and you would be very happy to help out, to give, to help people, for people to come see you when you can. Of course, not all the time, you don't want to be attracting like leeches or vampires, right? But when you can, you would definitely be willing to help out. But maybe people don't dare to come to you first of all when they don't know you, because you give that quite strong, sturdy, and don't bother me kind of vibe that is not necessarily how you see yourself at all. So that's an interesting thing to do, and maybe something you can work on now that you know that you can actually show that generosity and that happy, joyful, thriving of community like energy to the world even more, so you can really bring those two sides together. Let's find out now how you want to be seen, because that's also very interesting. We know how you see yourself, someone who loves to spend time with your loved ones, someone who can create happiness where they are, who doesn't need much to be happy, who is quite optimistic, and who, regardless of what's going on in life, even when it's raining, can see that there's still something to be grateful for. And also someone who's quite generous, who's willing to give what they can, to do their bit in the society, to be there for their loved ones, and to just be someone that people can rely on. That's how you see yourself. But let's see how you want to be seen, my pile number 2. If there's anything that you wish people saw about you that you feel like they're not seeing. Okay, we have the 9 of Swords and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, this is very interesting, because with the 9 of Swords here, for me, this is speaking very loudly. So, because you gave off this happy, positive, optimistic vibe, and because you are in your group of friends, family, etc., like I was saying, the person that people tend to go to when they are feeling down, they know that you're the person that you're gonna be there to cheer them up, to make them feel good, to remind them of all the good things that they have. Sometimes you are struggling with the fact that you don't get that back yourself when you are going through, because we all go through those anxious moments in life. We all have those times where we worry, we all have those times where we feel like we're sad, we're anxious, we're just not having a great time mentally. So any kind of emotion where you might be feeling a little bit anxious, stressed out, etc., all those times when you are going through those sleepless night and anxiety and stress, etc., maybe because you are so happy or you project this happy vibe, this is where you're lacking people to actually see when you're struggling. This is what I was trying to get at. So because you project this vibe of someone who's very confident, someone who's very happy, someone who's very optimistic, someone who is there for his loved ones when they need, someone who's very focused on their goals, and almost like not very approachable for people who don't know you. When you are struggling mentally, when you are going through those dark nights of the soul, when you are going through those difficult times, you struggle with people seeing that, because maybe you have problems showing it, maybe you have problems asking for help, maybe you have problems telling people, hey, you know what, today I would appreciate if you were there for me and you were trying to cheer me up, and you were helping me look at the bright side of things, because today I cannot. I actually can't do that myself. And so that's definitely something that you wish people saw a little bit more, and maybe it's something you need to work on, is expressing your needs. You don't always have to be the happy person. You don't always have to be the positive, optimistic person. It's okay for you to go through those difficult times, and it's totally human, but what you need to know and what you need to work on is asking for help, is telling people, is vocalizing your needs, and not needing to hide that, and in the fear that it might bother your friends or your family, etc., because it doesn't align with how they see you. That's okay. You can drop a little bit of that armor and let them see that more vulnerable side of yourself. How you wish to be seen as well. We also have the Ace of Pentacles. So maybe you wish that people saw you more as also someone who has great ideas, someone who can start off projects, someone who can, be there in terms of creativity and creating new ventures, creating new projects, etc. Maybe you wish that people saw a little bit more that side of you that can create anything out of anything, that kind of like MacGyver energy almost. So maybe that's more at work. You wish people saw a little bit more of your pocket knife kind of mind, where you're very good at doing a lot of things, and so you wish people saw a little bit more of that versatility, of your ability to create new things. And maybe you wish people didn't put you in a box, right? For some of you, people have put you in a box and you wish to come out of it. With this Ace of Pentacles, that's what I'm getting. So again, something that might not resonate with everyone, but if it's your job or anything like that, something you can think about if it does resonate with you. Now let's have a look, pulling a couple of oracle cards on finding out a little bit more how you want to be seen, if there's anything else we need to know. Enthusiasm, yeah, so definitely for me this is reinforcing the fact that you wish for, in your family, work, etc., maybe that people didn't put you so much in a box, and that people saw a little bit more that creativity part of you, where you can start new projects, where you have good ideas. And let's pull one more. Anything else I might want to come at? Bluff. So again, for me this resonates to this idea of dropping the mask and letting people see when you need help. Bluffing is about actually like showing your true self, right? Stopping the bluff, stopping the lies, and actually potentially sometimes not feeling ashamed or any type of way about telling people you're not feeling great, dropping that very strong victorious sun-like aura that you have around you, and letting people see more of your vulnerable side when you are struggling. So that's definitely a message that keeps being reinforced, so something you really need to hear, my pile number 2. Okay, we're gonna wrap up the reading now by finding out who you really are at your core. So we're gonna pull one oracle card for this. Of course, we are so many things as human beings. We are multiple facets. We have millions of aspects. So this is just one of your core part, one of your core archetype, and something that you can be using, and something that a part of you that you need to exploit more. Okay, with this archetype is who you really are at your core, and who you need to show more. The Shadow Master. Okay, see, I couldn't make this stuff up. What did we say? We said with this Nine of Swords that you need to be more vulnerable, and you need to ask people for help when you're going through those tough times, and you need to be okay about going through tough times. You don't have to be the happy person all the time. You don't have to be the positive person all the time. You don't have to be the optimistic person all the time, the person that's always going to cheer others on. You do have to integrate a little bit more your shadow part, my pile number 2. You do need to be okay with going through those dark nights of the soul sometimes, and you need to be okay with looking at your shadow, greeting your shadow, getting to know your shadow, so that you can make it work for you and not against you. So that's a beautiful part of you. The Shadow Master is such a powerful archetype, and it's something you really need to be digging in and empowering yourself with more, my pile number 2, so you can live an even more empowered and powerful life. So beautiful reading. I really hope you enjoyed that. If you did, please don't hesitate to give my video a like, because it really helps my channel know that I'm still kind of starting. Every like, every comment, everyone who subscribes, it super helps me out, and I'm really grateful for everyone who does that. And until my next video, I am sending you lots and lots of good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye! Hello my pile number 3, and welcome to your reading. So if you chose this specific tarot deck, which is actually called the Tarot Mucha, or if you pick this flower agate right here, then this is going to be the reading for you. As I mentioned in the introduction, today we're looking at how people see you versus how you see yourself. So we're going to start off today's reading by looking at how, first of all, let's pick somewhere quite close to home, and we're going to see how your loved ones see you. So whether that's your close-knit family, your close friends, your close colleagues, the people that know you and love you. Let's see first of all how they see you, my pile number 3. Because how your loved ones see you versus how you see yourself might be totally different. Okay. So in terms of how your loved ones see you, your close-knit group, your tribe, we have the 7 of Wands and the Ace of Pentacles for my pile number 3. Okay, so in terms of those two cards together, first thing I heard was resilience. So a lot of you are projecting a very strong demeanor, whether that's not how you see yourself or not, whether that's something you're doing consciously or unconsciously, it's definitely an image you're projecting that is very strong, that is very resilient. If you look at the 7 of Wands here, you can see that this person is not about to let any challenge come their way. They're literally building this kind of defense around them to protect them from what's coming. Now the funny thing is, we don't actually see if they're defending themselves because they're being attacked by potential people holding those wands, or if they are defending themselves in preparation of potential attack, right? We don't actually see any kind of attack. So what it tells me is that maybe people think you are also quite close guarded. You keep your cards close to your chest. Maybe you don't show really how you feel all the time. Maybe you're quite good at protecting yourself, defending yourself, putting yourself in some kind of protected bubble. So potentially people find you a little bit hard to read, even the people who love you and know you really well. That you might still be the kind of people that hold your cards close to your chest and don't really let people see, you're not an open book. You're not the kind of people that when we see you, or at least that's what you're projecting anyway, when we see you, we don't necessarily know how you feel. You're quite good at having some kind of demeanor of projecting an image that might not quite reflect how you're feeling inside. And maybe that's because you want to project an image of strength, of being able to be resilient, and you don't want people to see how you really feel. That might be a defense mechanism of some sort, or it might just be because you also have this kind of energy that your loved ones see anyway. That's how they see in you. For them, you're also the person that is very quite grounded. With the Ace of Pentacles here, we do have the element of earth, which talks about stability, being grounded, being secure, being 2 feet on the earth, being quite practical. So it gives me the idea that, the image that you're projecting is one of someone who knows where they're going. They have plans, they have goals, they have dreams, and they have big ideas. You're the kind of, maybe some of you are entrepreneurs, maybe some of you are wanting to be entrepreneurs. Like, there's this idea that you want to create the life you dream of, and you won't let anything stand in your way. That's how people perceive you. They see you as someone ambitious, not necessarily a bad thing at all, by the way. This is not meant to be shade or anything like that. This is just saying you are projecting an image of someone who has dreams, who wants to go at places, who has goals in life, who wants to get those dreams made, who wants to manifest something material in their life. And people perceive you as someone who is dedicated, perseverant, courageous, and brave enough to go after what they want, whilst also maybe projecting an image of someone who's quite strong and potentially a little bit harder to read, because you, like I said, maybe for some of you, your loved ones feel like you're really good at, projecting that strength and maybe not showing so much that vulnerable side of yourself. So let's see now how society sees you, in terms of like, we have a little bit of an idea of how your loved ones, people close to you see you, maybe even in your work, you know, you're being that person who can get stuff done and who has dreams and goals and who people know you'll get places kind of vibes. They know you're the type of person who will climb the ladder, who will go after their dreams, who will manifest what they want. But let's see how society sees you in general, as in how people you don't know see you, the people that, if you go to buy your coffee in a coffee shop, and you know, how does that person sees you, or if you're just having a job interview and for the first time people meet you in that job interview, how do they see you, you know? Here it's more about that image you're projecting to people who you don't actually know at all, society in general. So let's see, how does society see you? And that was quick. We have two jumper. Okay, we have death and the Six of Cups. Wow. Okay, let me move that up right here. Okay, that's very powerful and interesting. So, in terms of this with the Six and the Six of Cups, how do people see, how does society sees you? Society sees you as someone who is not afraid to start new. So that's the first thing I heard. So this is why I said, I feel like for some of you, you might be entrepreneurs, or you might be wanting to start your business, or you might have some kind of side hustle, or you might have a passion that is taking a big place in your life, even if it's not your job. There's something in your life that's either a passion, a hobby, or a career that is taking you know, an important place in your life, and that is gonna be like, you know, this is your calling, you know, this is your life mission, you know, this is your soul path. And regardless of what's happened before, you're not afraid to start new and to go after what you want, because you know it's gonna bring you completion, you know, it's gonna bring you fulfillment. This is what I'm hearing already with this vibe. And also with this death card here, how society sees you now is that actually they see you as someone who's not afraid to start new. So maybe some of you have gone through some difficult times in your life where you've had to start from scratch, whether that's you know, going through breakups or divorce or whatever, and having to start your life from scratch, maybe moving country and starting life from scratch, maybe changing career completely, starting life from scratch. There's this idea here that with the death card, that you're not afraid to rebirth yourself, to transform yourself, to always evolve and become a new person. And that is definitely something we can see with the death card, is that societies can sense this image of you, that you're not afraid to reinvent yourself. And with the Six of Cups as well, it's interesting because you also give this image of, you project this image of almost like childlike energy, not in a negative way at all, but more like you might project this image a little bit of innocence. So actually some of you might look much younger than you are, and so people might have the tendency to say, oh, I can't believe you're your age, you know, you look so much younger. Or maybe you just have that childlike energy that is more spontaneous, that is more, you know, or at least that's what people perceive, someone who's like quite spontaneous, who will easily want to play, maybe easily want to have fun, maybe, you know, people, or maybe you just get on really great with kids as well, and that's something society perceives. Like you might be, you know, other little children or children might be really attracted to you because they can sense that childlike energy in you. So that's also why the Six of Cups is showing up, which is an interesting kind of like ode to your inner child. People can definitely sense some kind of like childlike energy, innocence, spontaneity, or imagination when they first meet you. A very sweet aura, you know, the aura of someone who is young spirited, whether you are actually young in age or not. It doesn't matter about age here, it's about the vibe and the aura you give off, right? So there's very interesting mix here between this childlike aura that makes you very approachable and useful in nature, useful spirited, but also with this death card, the aura of, or the image you're projecting of someone who's not afraid to reinvent themselves, who's not afraid to start fresh, who's not afraid to go through life and always start new things. You're not afraid to literally pick up whatever, you know, drop everything, pick up some new projects, pick up some new life purposes, pick up some new ideas and go with it. because at the end of the day, you know where you want to go, you know what you want to do, so you're not afraid to change the circumstances around you to make sure that your soul worth, your soul purpose, your soul mission is going to get accomplished. So it's a very interesting kind of image that you're projecting, and maybe you're not even aware that this is the image you're projecting, my pile number 3. But let's see, let's pull some oracle cards to see how we get a little bit more onto how society sees you. Let's see, appreciation. See, so for me this very much resonates to this childlike energy. People like you straight away. I feel like you're the kind of people that you know, people can easily get on with you. You don't give off maybe you know, you're not unapproachable, even though, like we said, you do keep your, or people think you keep your cards close to your chest. You do have this sense of approachability and of being quite easygoing, you know, like, so people feel like you can be approached quite easily with this kind of like, we have the moon in Leo vibe here, so you know, Leo's fire sign, a very approachable sign, a very social sign, so that could be something that, an image you give off without realizing. And we also have convention. Okay, so this for me resonates to how your family and loved ones and close-knit friends see you. They might see you, like we were talking about, as someone who's quite stable, grounded, and who is conventionate in the sense of they know what they want, and they are, you know, in this, and in the sense of knowing where you want to go and not being afraid to put the work to get there. This is what I'm hearing about convention, you know, not necessarily, we have Capricorn vibe here, not necessarily being like boring or being like you know, trying to fit you in a box, but more in the sense that for the people who know you, you give this image of someone who will put in the work when is needed to go after what they want, to get the security and stability or dream and goals or financial abundance or whatever it is that you are looking for, especially with this Ace of Pentacles here. Okay, so now we have a little bit more of an idea of how your friends and family sees you and how the vibe that you emit for people who don't know you. Let's also see now on the other end of the spectrum how you see yourself, my pile number 3. So that's very interesting to compare. So how is it that you actually see yourself? So we have the Two of Wands that came out. Let's see, how do you see yourself? And we have the Empress. No, sorry, the Nine of Pentacles. Sorry, the image looks quite similar in this deck. So we have Two of Wands and Nine of Pentacles. So with the Two of Wands here, how you see yourself is you actually see yourself as someone quite adventurous and someone quite passionate and someone who is yearning for traveling, for adventure, for discovering. So you definitely are within yourself, so you have a desire to go explore the world, to go experience new culture, experience new thing, you know, strong Sagittarius vibe here of wanting to discover new cultures, new worlds, new countries, of learning a lot, you know, learning lots of different skills or learning lots of different things or going to lots of different places. There's like an explorer kind of vibe here, an explorer archetype I'm getting that you have at yourself, that you know is part of how you see yourself. You love potentially to learn new things, like I was saying, discover new places, etc. And with the Nine of Pentacles, I can sense that for you, financial stability, material stability are somehow important and are part of your well-being. And again, that's totally okay. This is no judgment here, you know. Of course, it's okay to want nice things. Of course, it's okay to want stability and financial security and abundance, regardless of how some spiritual places and communities and pages will make you feel. You know, a lot of spiritual people are like, no, you shouldn't want material success, it's contradictory to being spiritual, and it's not everyone has to live like monks in the monasteries with no belongings, you know. If material abundance, if prosperity, if having regular income in your bank account or is part of your well-being, then that's how it is, and you shouldn't be ashamed of that, and it's part of who you are and how you see yourself. So This for me resonates to the idea that you do have some big dreams, you do have some big goals, and you are not afraid to put in the work to go get them. You definitely are, you have a plan, or if you don't have a plan right now at the time of you watching it, this is telling me that you will also be having one very soon, where suddenly things kind of, you connect the dots and things fit into places, and you suddenly realize, you know what, this is what I want to do with my life. And it doesn't have to be, like I said, a huge career goal or plan. It could be like a side hobby or something that just brings you a lot of joy and could also bring in some material abundance and prosperity, etc. But we do have a sense with the Nine of Pentacles that being comfortable in your home, being comfortable in your body, being comfortable with your bank account, with your material surrounding, in your environment is very important. For some of you it might not be money, it might be but your body, like taking care of your health, taking care of your body might be a priority and part of your well-being, and a really huge part of who you are as a person. For some of you it might be your home, your environment can be a huge part of who you are and how, and your self-worth and your self-development, etc. But with these two cards here, how you see yourself, there's a definite an explorer side to you, as well as someone who likes to have some kind of comfort and who draws strength, empowerment, and well-being from the material comfort, regardless of how material comfort looks to you, because of course for so many people it's going to look so different. And that might be because you've gone through some kind of hardships, you've gone through some kind of struggles, whether that's in your health, whether that's in your finances, whether that's in your home environment. Some of you might have gone through difficulties that now you do appreciate. Everything you have, you appreciate it, and you want to grow it and nurture it even more, because you've known what it's like to be in lack. For a lot of you I can hear, you've known what it's like to not have money or to not have a home that you feel comfortable in, or maybe some of you have gone through health problems, so now you have an extra appreciation for your body. Whatever it is, there's a sense of appreciating it even more so now, the material things that you do have, being grateful for it because you have gone through hardships that have made you aware of how lucky you are now that you're more like you've gone through it, kind of thing. So now we have a bit more of an idea of how you see yourself, how others sees you, how society sees you. Let's see how you wish to be seen, how you want to be seen, because sometimes there's part of us that we wish people would see and we're not very good at projecting that. So maybe being aware of it now will help you to project that even more. But let's see, how do you want to be seen, my pile number 3? Is there a part of yourself that you wish people would see more? Okay, we have the 10 of Swords and the Sun. Okay. So the first thing I heard was Survivor. You wish people would appreciate more how much you've gone through, how much you've suffered, and how much wisdom you've gained from it. And so maybe there's this idea that people, maybe because you're quite close guarded in the sense that you do keep some of your cards close to your chest, like we've talked about in the very beginning. And because you are quite approachable, you have this childlike spontaneity, creativity, or useful energy, there is a sense that people don't realize actually how much you've suffered in life, how much you've gone through in life, how much you've had to, this reinvention, this like phoenix-like energy with the Death card that we were talking about earlier, where but people feel like you're very good at reinventing yourself, at starting from scratch, etc. Maybe a lot of people don't realize that didn't come easy, that came with hardship, with some suffering, with some hard experiences, and maybe you wish that people would realize that a little bit more, so they would know why you're shining so much. Why is it that now you have the ability to stand for what you want? Why is it that now you have the ability to keep being grateful for what you have and to show this aura of someone who's quite, who's appreciated, who's like hardworking, etc., is because you've gone through a lot and it's brought you a lot of wisdom, a lot of guidance. With the Sun here, we talk about in the Tarot Major Arcana card, the Sun comes in the Tarot journey, in the Major Arcana card journey, it comes after a lot of the difficult cards like the Devil and the Tower, etc. And it shows that after we go through what we call the dark night of the soul and we go through difficult time in our lives, the sun comes as a way to say, and now, after everything you've gone through, now you can celebrate the fact that one, you're still standing, and the fact that two, you've learned so much, you're a new empowered person. It's you 2.0 kind of thing, right? With the sun card. It is letting the sun come in after the hardship to say, you know what, I'm here, I'm a survivor, I got through it, and now I'm an even better, more empowered person. So maybe that's a part of you that you wish people see, but that might be, people might fail to see that because maybe you're not being very good at showing vulnerability. So some of you, I can sense that this is a problem for you, that you do project this strong demeanor, you do project this energy of someone who's very strong, who's very sturdy, and who almost doesn't need help or anything like that, because you have, you have trouble showing people that vulnerable part of you. But if you want people to actually help you out sometimes, if you want people to actually be there for you when you're struggling, if you want people to actually realize that you do have wisdom, you do have empowerment, and you do have experiences that have helped build you, that make you unique, you need to let people in on that story. You need to tell your story. This is what I'm hearing. Tell your story, speak out, tell the world, what you've gone through and how that has made you you. Show yourself, show all of yourself, and don't be scared for people to see who you really are by sharing everything you've gone through. Sharing your story is definitely the huge theme for pile number 3, because that's what I keep hearing. You have a story, either you're going through it right now, or you've gone through it when you were younger, or it's something that's ongoing that you need to share with the world in whatever form it might be, however way it may be. This is something that is part of what is required of you, because by sharing it with the world, it will allow others to illuminate their own paths. It will allow people to see you for who you really are, and it will allow you to rise up from this and alchemize everything you've gone through into actual gold. So this is very important for you, my pile number 3. There's this idea here that you need to speak up and share your story and share what you've gone through, who you are, and show yourself 100%, being totally transparent and authentic. Okay, so let's pull a couple of oracle cards to find out a little bit more, and this get a little bit more clarification regarding this, how you want to be seen. See, resistance. So a lot of you do have some resistance into sharing the more vulnerable parts of yourself, or into speaking up about what you've gone through. Maybe some of you have gone through some quite traumatic things that you have resistance speaking up about, and you're encouraged to actually now, if you feel comfortable to, and of course with a proper care and support, and even professional care if you need to help you, you are encouraged, if it resonates with you, to speak up, to share your story, and to show that more vulnerable part of you. And we also have seduction. So maybe for some of you this is kind of like standing in the way of finding love. If this is for some of you something you're at the moment wanting to do, finding love, finding your partner, finding your loving relationship, a romantic relationship, then being vulnerable and sharing your story will help, and also not being afraid to shine your light, not trying to dim your light for anyone else, will help you in your seduction, in your courting, in the dating, to find the person that is meant for you. Okay, this message particular is not for everyone, but for whoever who needs to hear it. If you're trying to find someone at the moment, then you're encouraged to again show a bit more vulnerability, and not be afraid to shine your light, not be afraid to be 100% yourself, and to not be ashamed of who you are. Just be unapologetically you. Okay, so let's wrap up the reading for my pile number 3. We'll pull one final card, and this card is going to represent who you really are at your core. So what is the archetype that represents part of who you are? Of course, as human beings, we have a million facets. We are so complex, we're so different that one archetype cannot define us. We're always evolving, always changing. But at the moment of you watching, what we're gonna pick, what is one of the archetypes that represents you the most right now, and especially more so the archetype that you need to embody more and embrace more at this time. We have the crone. Okay, that's super interesting. So remember how I said maybe the society saw you as this quite childlike energy? Maybe this is why the crone is coming in as an archetype to embrace, which is actually you do have a lot of wisdom because you have gone through so much, my pile number 3. You do have a lot of knowledge, you have a lot of wisdom, you're very wise. Despite what people may think, you are very wise. And so you need to embrace your inner crone more and embrace that wisdom part of you, even if people see you as someone who's quite youthful, quite childish or naive. Deep down you know that's not who you are, and you need to be embracing your inner crone, relating to see how we have this reference here. There's totally this sense of transformation, rebirth, renewal with my pile number 3. It's a very deep vibe, a vibe from, I can sense this pile has gone through a lot. I can sense this pile has a lot of gifts from this transformation you've gone through, from this death and rebirth cycle that you've embraced. And this is why the crone is coming here to say embrace the knowledge that you've gathered from the times you've reinvented yourself, from the time you've rebirthed, because not many people have gone through what you've gone through or are going through what you're going through, and this is bringing you a lot of wisdom that a lot of people could benefit from. So don't shy away from embracing your inner crone energy right now, my pile number 3. Okay, this is all I'm seeing for today's reading. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please don't hesitate to give my video a thumbs up or leaving me a comment. It really helps my channel out. I'm still kind of new in this YouTube, so anyone subscribing, anyone liking, anyone commenting, it really helps me out and my channel, and I'm super grateful for anyone who takes the time to do it. And until my next video, I am sending you lots and lots of good vibes, and keep navigating the waves of your soul. Bye!